Hey guys, I want to talk about Static Strike and how it can have way more potential than people think. In the future it may even become a meta. So rework Static Strike on itself is nothing too special, it's even actually kind of bad. You hit an enemy and you gain 4-second buff, during which you shoot beams which can hit up to 6 targets. They are not projectiles but they can chain, and beams proc around 3 times per second. But the base AoE of those beams is pretty bad, so you need to get pretty close to enemies. Beams do less damage while stationary and less damage while moving. Basically we do more damage if you move. Now, the potential of Static Strike comes not from its own damage, but from the procs that it can do. In these clips you see me using dual Mjolners, proccing Shock Nova and Arc. And since I have a bit of skill effect duration, my Static Strike lasts around 6 seconds. So I can hit enemy once and then run for 6 seconds damaging enemies and proccing Arc and Shock Nova. And this is not a guide or anything, this is just an idea and what I have been experimenting with, and I will give you a couple other ideas. I did a small testing and turns out that Static Strike beams alternate weapons. So if you got dual wielding weapons like I do, you will hit with one weapon and then another beam will hit with another weapon. Like in this clip, it's easy to see how it alternates weapons. If you take a look at my skill bar and look at my Shock Nova and Arc, you can see when it goes on cooldown. But that is against single target. If there are more enemies, you will basically be proccing both weapons at the same time. Well, it is a bit sad that it does alternate weapons and doesn't hit with both weapons at the same time, but it does not really diminish the potential of this Static Strike. Now, why is this good? Think of anything that can proc something on attack. Cast on melee kill, Mjolner on hit, Cospress Malice on melee critical, Namahu's Flame Axe, cast on crit, and I'm sure there are more. And the best thing about this is that you can proc all those things without even stopping. Well, you do need to stop once in a while to hit enemies and get the buff, but you can use Static Strike purely as utility skill, as a buff. You could for example support Static Strike with Ancestral Call so that one hit would give you 3 stacks, also add increased duration to make it last longer, maybe life gain on hit support, Fortify, and then for your weapons use something like Cospress Malice, which would trigger a cold spell when you hit enemies with melee critical strike. Then use frenzy charges, phase run, and just go crazy speed. You would still need to get close to enemies to do the procs, but for example if you use Mjolnir, you can easily incorporate Arc, which gains extra chain from Mjolnir's, which does extra damage against single target for each remaining chain, and of course gives a lot of clear speed. And you can totally use it with something like Queen of the Forest, which would give you even more movement speed and increase your clear speed. Now for leveling you could probably also use Cast on Melee Kill. I did not try it personally because I did not think the build will go in this direction. It was supposed to be minion build mostly, but I just fell in love with this playstyle. Now to scale the spell damage you could scale just generic, for example lightning damage if you're using Mjolnir's, or cold damage, or crit multipliers. Or you could use the new minion node Spiritual Aid, which makes your increases and reductions to minion damage affect you, and then get the minion damage nodes. It's like having a free Scorch Claw for any build. Oh, and you could also use Crown of Ice and make increases in spell damage also apply to attacks, but that's not really useful anymore I think. Oh, one more thing about Spiritual Aid node. Minion damage support would not give you damage, because this node only checks increases and reductions, while minion support damage is more damage multiplier, not increased damage multiplier. So I will definitely be making more builds around this idea, and most likely play with Cospress Malice and maybe even Queen of the Forest. I'm not a big fan of moving too fast, but it just works so well in Delve. I'm sure people will come up with more crazy ideas to use the Static Strike. Maybe you already got some cool ideas. Share them in the comments below, and we will definitely not steal them. As for the build guide for this build that I'm playing, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it, but I will definitely continue playing and hopefully reach level 90 tomorrow. I'm just waiting for the new changes to improve the flares, the dynamite and all the other Delve stuff. And I'm not really planning a new build just yet. So for now, thank you for watching and see you soon.